Okay, so this semester we learned that the categorization of categories are psychodynamic, cognitive behavioral, humanistic, feminist, and postmodern. So here are some of the theories, and some of the more popular ones are Freud's psychosexual theory, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Erik Erikson's development theory, behavioral theory, and then some of the newer ones, which one of my favorites are um, is object relations theory and narrative theory. So the first one I'm going to touch on is by Sigmund Freud. Now, he developed his theory based on the five psychosexual stages of development, which can be observed here, and they are oral, anal, phallic, latent, and genital. So a mnemonic that can be used to remember the stages is obligations are painful little guys, or old age pensioners love grapes. During the phallic stage, there's also something very interesting that happens. Boys fall in love with their moms, and girls fall in love with their dads until they experience castration anxiety. Now, for boys, it's called Oedipus complex, and for girls, it's called the Electra complex. So this is now Erik Erikson's theory. Erik Erikson, who was born in 1902 to 1994, was a stage theorist who took Freud's controversial psychosexual theory and modified it into an eight-stage psychosocial theory of development. So Erik Erikson has an eight-staged psychosocial theory of development. During each of his eight stages, two conflicting ideas must be resolved successfully in order for a person to become confident and contribute to society. Failure to master these tasks will lead to feelings of inadequacy. A picture of a chimpanzee, and besides graphical shock, this is to introduce Kohler's theory. Wolfgang Kohler's most famous study on insight learning involved Sultan the chimpanzee, who Kohler argued used insight to learn a creative way of attaining fruit that was out of reach. So essentially, Sultan was in a cage and he was given a stick, which he used to pull a piece of fruit close to the cage so that he could pick it up. After Sultan learned to use that stick, Kohler moved the fruit out of range of the short stick. Then he placed a longer stick within reach of the short stick. So initially, Sultan the chimpanzee tried to reach for the fruit with the short stick and failed. However, eventually Sultan learned to use the short stick to reach the long stick, and then use the long stick to reach the fruit. Sultan was never conditioned to use one stick to reach another. Instead, it seemed as though he had an epiphany. The internal process that led Sultan to use the sticks in this way is a basic example of insight. So the theory here is known as the hierarchy of needs. The general needs in Maslow's hierarchy include psychological needs such as food and clothing and water, oxygen, the basic stuff, safety needs such as job security, a place to live, social needs such as friendships and being loved, self-esteem, and self-actualization. And a mnemonic that can be used to remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs is FAT, PHAT, Fat Santa likes every soul. And then there's the depiction of another animal. So this is to introduce behavior therapy, whose goal is to change behavior. There are major approaches in behavior therapy, and they are behavior analysis, stimulus response, and social learning theory, which is cognitive meditational processes. Behavior therapy consists of ideas about how human actions and emotions develop, are sustained, and how they are extinguished through principles of learning. Behavior theory is not concerned with the client's internal mental processes, but it focuses on physical, observable, and objective behavior. And then there is Piaget's theory. It is called Piaget's cognitive moral development, and it really focuses on children's understanding of right or wrong. It has 4 stages: the sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, the concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage. Now this is characterized by age groups, as can be observed right here.